Delay is not denial. The 10 plagues prior to the Exodus. To the naked eye, Pharaoh was extremely defiant and unreasonable in his reluctance to let God's people go, despite several tragic incidents, plagues, which were devastating to the Egyptians and their land. However, when God sent Moses to Pharaoh to demand that he let the Israelites go, God literally spells out what he was going to do and why. And the Lord said unto Moses, When thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. Exodus 4:21-23. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken unto Moses. Exodus 9:12 KJV. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his host, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. Exodus 14:4. The evidence is therefore crystal clear. God allowed Pharaoh to refuse to release the Israelites from bondage each time until after the 10th plague, so that he would, during each of the 10 times he sent Moses to Pharaoh, demonstrate his might and power. As a result, the Egyptians suffered the consequences of Pharaoh's hardened heart each time. The 10th and final one was by far the worst, in that all the firstborn sons of the Egyptians died, including Pharaoh's. The Lord plans to unleash vengeance on our enemies on our behalf, and to deliver us from every demonic bondage, because as his children and believers in Jesus, we are his firstborn sons, and so precious to him. It is worth noting that before Moses' journey to Egypt, when the Lord spoke to him, he mentioned that Pharaoh's hardened heart would result in his firstborn son being slain. Exodus 4:23. Moses did not at the time envisage a prolonged 9 plagues processes before this most devastating one of death to Egyptian firstborn sons. As in this case, the Lord may ask us to do something, but he may choose not to give us all the details of the time span, how he would do it, or details of some of the joys or dangers and challenges we may encounter along the way. But as Moses, we must obey nevertheless, because our lives or those of multitudes may depend on our obedience. Our obedience, as that of Moses did, although we may not be conscious of it, often has eternal consequences and is for prophetic fulfillment. Although the Israelites were doubtful and fearful, revealed by how their suffering was intensified by Pharaoh at beginning of Moses' demand he lets them go, the prolonged wait to perform his miracle of deliverance of his people was worth it to God. This is because through it he demonstrated that he was the one and only almighty, omnipotent God who Pharaoh, the magicians and gods of Egypt, could not withstand or stop. Our God is in every situation we go through. He sees, knows, and cares. What appears to the naked eye or in the natural is often not what the full picture is or how it will remain permanently. In order to have God's perspective of things or understanding of his ways, we must determine to stay as close to him and Jesus Christ as possible through daily Bible study, prayer, and praise. The Holy Spirit is activated as a result, and we become ones who walk in the Spirit with the gifts and fruit of the Spirit, able to know God and have his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. In addition, whatever the enemy throws at us will never derail us, because our soul knows well that in every storm or unsettling situation, God is at work in his supernatural ways. We may not understand for however long it pleases him to reap as much glory out of it as possible. We have a God who is faithful. Whatever he has promised, he will fulfill or bring to pass. You are blessed, determined to stay blessed.